Hi all, welcome to OnlyIAS English channel. How are you all doing today? We are here with the fifth chapter, which is the preamble. Without any further delay, taking you to our discussion. As I have always been telling, this is my official YouTube Telegram channel. You can always contact me here. You can reach out to me with regard to your political queries, PABAD queries, or even with regard to your preparation, etc. You can contact me. Please send in your answers also. Only the PYQs, previous year questions from 2013 onwards of PABAD as well as Polity. Otherwise, GS paper 2, you can send it over here in the PDF format. Without any further delay, taking you to the topic, the chapter, preamble. So American Constitution was the first to begin with what? Was the first to begin with a preamble. And what is preamble? It is basically an introduction or a preface. It generally tells about what our constitution is. What is the constitution about? What is the spirit of the constitution? What is the soul of the constitution? So it gives an idea. Clear? It is an identity card of the constitution. And in our case, it is based on the objectives resolution of Nehru, passed in 13th December 1946 and adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. So once again, preamble is based on objective resolutions of Nehru, passed on 13 December 1946, adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. 47th Amendment Act of 1976 added 3 words to the Constitution or to the preamble: socialist, secular, and integrity. Clear? Let us take it further forward now. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, where socialist and secular were added by the 42nd Amendment Act. So, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Clear? And to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. What type of justice? Social, economic, political. What type of liberty? Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. Then equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Clear, people? So this is the idea here. Now, why that? Socialist, secular, integrity from our previous slide. All right. So this is the idea. Why are we studying it in this level? Because from here you can easily get a prelims question. So once again, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, socialist and secular added by the 42nd Amendment. Then to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Justice, social, economic, political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Then equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual, that is the psychological, the well-being of the individual, and the unity and integrity of the nation. Integrity also added by 42nd Amendment. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, that is, if you actually write it down, it is 26/11/49. Getting the point here? 26/11. Otherwise, if I use it, you will never think about this date. You will only think about what? The terror attack. Not only you, even every one of us will think it in those lines only. But that is the significance. As much as this date has a historical significance, it also has the scar on the heart of every Indian. Do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this constitution. Taking it forward, Ingredients of the preamble. It is a source of authority. Source of authority means from here you literally get to know what were our fathers of our constitution were thinking. It talks about the nature of the Indian state, which is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Objectives of the constitution: justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and the date of adoption 26/11/49. Moving on. Keywords. Sovereign. Sovereign means what? Sovereign simply means we are not under anybody. We need not listen to anybody. We are completely independent to take our own policy decisions. Let us see. Neither a dependency nor a dominion. Free to conduct its own internal and external affairs. From August 15, 1947 to Jan 26, 1950, we were a dominion of the British Commonwealth. What is the British Commonwealth? British Commonwealth nations, Commonwealth of Nations are those nations which were at one point of time were under colonial power. So we were a dominion from 47 to 50. But does that mean Britishers were ruling our country? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because that provision, that freedom was given to the Constituent Assembly to repeal any law passed by the British Parliament. That freedom was already given. And the power of the king was completely taken out. British king I am talking about. It was completely taken over by the people of our country. Clear? It was just that we became a member there. That's it. Jan 26, 1950, we declared herself a sovereign republic. We or she declared herself. Who is the she here? India. Pakistan however continued to be a British dominion. India became a member of the United Nations Organization in 1945. That is, even though we have become member of foreign organizations, we have not compromised on our sovereignty. We still take our own decisions. Clear, people? Socialist. Socialist content is there in DPSP. Welfare state, correct? Trying to seek justice, social justice. All these talk about what? We are a socialist state. Awadi session of Congress 1955 specifically mentioned establish a socialist pattern of society. Awadi session of Congress. Which year? 1955. Moving on. So, now if you look over here, we have a democratic socialism rather than communistic socialism. What is the difference between the two? In a democratic socialism, the interesting thing is private players or private ownership is allowed. Whereas in communistic socialism, you basically have what? There is no private. Everything is owned by the state. Best example for this is the former Soviet Russia. Clear? What has the Supreme Court said about this? Supreme Court has said democratic socialism aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease, and inequality of opportunity. The Indian socialism, the Indian brand of socialism is often considered to be a blend or a mix of Marxian socialism, which talks about what? Government, that is everything. Everything should be pro-poor, pro-worker, pro-laborer. That is whatever policies are made, it should be ultimately for the poorest of the poor. Plus Gandhian socialism. Because Gandhi was never against the idea of private players or capitalists or etc. The only thing what he wanted was what? Even if you're a capitalist, be a benevolent capitalist. Somebody who will favor the society. Getting the point? You should be benevolent. You should be considerate. Have a father-son relationship with your worker. That is what he focused on. 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 added the word originally socialist was not there in the preamble. LPG has diluted socialist credentials. This is pretty much true in the sense that government is reducing its presence from most of the key sectors and has reduced its presence now to strategic sectors alone. Getting the point? The other thing is, this is one way of looking at it. But the other way, when you see, you have schemes like Ayushman Bharat, you have schemes like public distribution system, that is a national food security system, etc. So in a way, if you see, government at one is removing itself from those areas which is not needed or which is best served by the private players. Best example, Air India. Government left it, let the private players do everything now. Getting the point? So that is a matter of debate. But anyway, if you actually see government from the commanding heights of the economy, which was a catchphrase under second 5-year plan, from there government is slowly withdrawing from almost all those areas which at one point was important, past, not anymore. Secular, again added by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, Articles 25 to 28 clearly indicates that we do promote what? All the religions, protect all religions, including the minorities. They can run their institutions. All those freedoms are there. We follow the positive concept of secularism, which I already explained in the earlier class. That is, we treat all the religions equally. Politics and religion are not completely separated, which is the negative concept practiced in USA. Atheistic state. State doesn't recognize any religion. State doesn't support any religion also. Theocratic state. State has a state religion. Pakistan, it is Islam. You go to Vatican City, it is Christianity. Then you have secular state. Positive meaning India, negative meaning USA. Democratic, popular sovereignty means what? Supreme power lies with the people. Direct democracy is there, representative is also there. So let us look into what do you mean by direct democracy. So direct democracy basically has 4 points under it: referendum, initiative, recall, plebiscite. Referendum means a new law is made. I want to know the opinion of the people. I put it for vote. I make a law, I tell it to the people, tell me what is your idea on this. That is referendum. Referring it to the people. Made a law, referring it to the people. How will people show their consent? By vote. Next, initiative. People feel that some new law is needed. People take the initiative and they say, okay, why don't you make a law on this? People can propose a bill to the legislature. That is initiative. Recall means what? This particular official is not doing his job. Call him back. Remove a representative before expiry of the term. Number 4, plebiscite. Obtain opinion of people on any issue of public importance, generally used to solve territorial dispute. Referendum, bill made, referred to the people by vote. Initiative, people proposing a bill. Recall, calling back a representative. Plebiscite, on an important issue, what is the people's opinion? Seeking it out. Direct democracy can actually be practiced only in those countries where the size is small, population is less. Not in our country with more than 140 crore people. Indirect democracy is basically what? You have representative democracy and which has 2 aspects to it, that is parliamentary and presidential. Indian constitution basically has a representative parliamentary democracy in which executive is responsible to the legislature. That is, we elect the MPs and MLAs. They go there. They will decide among themselves who should be the minister, chief minister, etc. They form the government. But ultimately, that government is responsible at the central level to the parliament, the state level to the legislative assembly. Aage. Democratic character of Indian polity. How do we know that Indian polity has a democratic character? Let us see. Universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise, periodic elections, rule of law, independence of judiciary, absence of discrimination. So, universal adult franchise. So, voting rights are there. Then comes the voting part. Periodic election. Elections should follow the rules, rule of law. If not, judiciary will question. Independence of judiciary. Last one, there is no discrimination, absence of discrimination. These are the 5 characteristics of democratic character. Preamble ensures social, political, and economic democracy. Social democracy is ensured through liberty, equality, and fraternity. LEF forms a union of trinity, and to diverse one from the other is to defeat the very purpose of democracy. What do you mean by that? Liberty, equality, fraternity. And this is known as the union of trinity. Simply means if one is not there, the other two are of no use. That is equality without liberty. Everybody are equal, but there is no freedom to do anything. Means what? There will be no innovation or initiative. Freedom is there. I mean, everybody is equal, but no freedom means you will not have anything new to create. Then, without equality, liberty would produce the supremacy of a few over many. What is that? That is, equality is not there, but liberty is there. You have the freedom to do anything, but no equality. The one who is rich will dominate over the poor. Clear? Moving on. Supreme Court in 1997. The Constitution envisions to establish an egalitarian social order. When we say egalitarian, we are basically hinting at what? Equality. A society of equals. Rendering to every citizen social, economic, and political justice in a social and economic democracy of the Bharat Republic. That is basically ensuring everybody is having equal social, economic, and political rights. Then comes republic. Republic means what? Why do we call ourselves a republic? Because our head of the state or head of the country is not a monarchy. It is not a post by hereditary. It is again by indirect election. Anybody can rise up to the post of president. Democratic polity, we have presidential and you have monarchical. Two types are there. Presidential is what we find in our country. Monarchical is found in Britain, where the head of the state is basically what? The king or the queen. It is only from the British royal family can become the head of the state. Nobody else can become, not a common man. In India, that is not the case. Any common man through election can end up becoming the president of India. Political sovereignty lies with the people. People are ultimately supreme. Not that there is a special category of people, only they can become the president. No. Britain, special class is there. Only a member of the royal family, direct heir to the throne. That is also important. There are so many members of the royal family, that is different. But you should be somebody who is directly, that is the king's first son will be the next king. That will be the head of Britain. In India, nothing like that. Who is the next president if you ask? Anybody who stands for election. Clear? So there is an absence of privileged class where in India. Then you have justice. 1 minute. Absence of privileged class. Then you have justice. Social, economic and political secured through fundamental rights and DPSP. Social, economic, political justice that is secured through the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Clear, people? Moving on. Idea of justice have been borrowed from the Russian Revolution. Then we have liberty, which is what? Freedom. Absence of restraints on the activities of individuals. That is the meaning of it. No restraint. Nothing binding you, nothing stopping you. That is what liberty means. And providing opportunities for the development of individual personality, developing your personality to its fullest. And that is why you need what? Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. All of these are ensured through what? Fundamental rights. Now there comes the warning. Liberty's meaning is what? Absence of restraint. You have opportunity. And liberty of what? Thought, expression, belief, faith, worship. And all of these are ensured through what? Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights itself, if you see, FR is not absolute. Therefore, liberty is also not absolute. Government can place reasonable restrictions on your freedom. Liberty means freedom. Freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. They can place restrictions on this. Let us take it further forward. Liberty is not absolute but qualified. Liberty, equality, and fraternity have been borrowed from the French Revolution of 1789 to 1799. And then you have equality. Absence of special privileges for any section of society. Adequate opportunities for all individuals without any discrimination. Nobody is going to get any special preference. Then adequate opportunities will be there for everyone. Now some of you might be asking, what about reservation? The reservation is what you call positive discrimination. That is, those sections of the population which are backward. Socially, economically, they are backward. So in order to bring them to the mainstream, along with the rest of the population who are socially, economically developed, you want to bring them. So you are giving them special consideration. That is not considered as bad discrimination. That is positive discrimination, because that actually helps in equity. Social equity. Clear? 3 dimensions are there to equality: civic, political, and economic. Civic equality is achieved through equality before law, Article 14. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, etc., Article 15. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment, Article 16. Abolition of untouchability, Article 17. Abolition of titles, Article 18. That is, all the 5 right to equality articles, 14 to 18, ensures what? Civic equality. Civic equality through 14 to 18. Clear, people? Political equality is achieved through no person is to be declared ineligible for inclusion in electoral rolls on grounds of religion, race, caste, or sex. That is, it is basically talking about voting rights. What article? Article 325. Keep this article in your mind. Memorize this, because this is what empowers you to go and cast your vote. 325. Then, elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies to be on the basis of adult suffrage. Article 326. That means anybody above 18 will get voting rights. That is the next one. Article 326. So 325 is about voting person's name in the electoral roll should be added without any discrimination. First point. Second point is to do with universal adult suffrage. Article 326. Economic equality is through the DPSP. Article 39. Secures to men and women equal right to an adequate means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. Clear, people? So, civic equality through Article 14 to Article 18. Political equality through Article 325 and Article 326. Economic equality through Article 39 of the DPSP. Clear, people? Moving on. Fraternity, it is a sense of brotherhood. That is, we are achieving it through the single citizenship. The fundamental duty, Article 51A, it says that it shall be the FD of every citizen of India to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional, or sectional diversities. Fraternity has to ensure dignity of the individual, ensure material benefit, maintain democratic setup, and personality of every individual is sacred. Unity and integrity through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of this nation, psychological and territorial, and you don't have any right to secede. We'll see one by one. So fraternity means sense of brotherhood, and we have ensured it through single citizenship and again through our fundamental duties. Fraternity's purpose is what? To ensure the dignity of the individual is protected. Dignity means what? Not just material or economic alone, but includes personality development. And to ensure, to keep this fraternity strong, we have added the word integrity by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act into the preamble. And as per Article 1, no state can secede from India. This also ensures what? The fraternity remains strong. The brotherhood remains strong. Clear? It shall be the duty of every citizen of India to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, and also make it the duty of every citizen of India to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. So integrity is also mentioned here in the fundamental duties. Protecting the dignity of women and to renounce means stop practicing those practices which are derogatory to the dignity of a woman. Clear, people? Well, that is the idea there. Before we go on to the significance, very quickly, let us try to revise this. So, sovereign, already it was there. Alright, sovereign was already there in the preamble. Then comes what? Socialist, added by 42nd Amendment. We follow unique blend of socialism, Indian socialism, mix of Gandhian and Marxist. Then secular, again it was not there, added by 42nd Amendment. Article 25 to 28. From here onwards, the articles come. Articles 25 to 28. Alright. Then democratic, that was already there. Then direct democracy, we saw referendum, referring to the people. People referring to the legislature initiative. Recall, people calling the representative back. Then plebiscite, taking people's opinion. Indirect democracy, representative, presidential is there, parliamentary is there. Indian constitution follows representative parliamentary democracy. Then democratic character, universal adult franchise, periodic elections, rule of law, judiciary, and then finally absence of discrimination. Then coming to republic. Republic means what? Again, no special class, elected head of state. Justice. Justice again, idea taken from Russian Revolution. Liberty, which is absence of any restraint, opportunities to improve. Liberty of thought expression, belief, faith, and worship. Just like ensured through fundamental rights, but with restraint. It's not absolute, it is qualified. Equality. Equality, when we say there is, what is it? No special privileges for anyone. Civic equality through Article 14 to 18, fundamental rights. Political equality through Article 325 and Article 326. Alright. Then economic equality through the DPSP, Article 39. Fraternity, it is called sense of brotherhood, ensured through fundamental duties, Article 51A. Plus, unity and integrity of the nation. Integrity also ensures fraternity, added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Then, you also have what? You also have Article 1. Nobody has the right to secede. Plus, once again, the fundamental duty, that is, anything that is derogatory to the dignity of a woman, those practices should be renounced. Coming to significance of the preamble, it embodies the basic philosophy and fundamental values, political, moral, and religious, on which Constitution is based. It is the horoscope of the sovereign democratic republic. It is the precious part of the Constitution. It is the soul of the constitution, key to the constitution, jewel set in the constitution, yardstick to measure the worth of the constitution, keynote to the constitution. Any of these terms, you can use it as your intro for your mains. That is, even if your optional is polity and PSIR, or even if you want to use it for GS paper 2. Resembles the Declaration of Independence of USA, lays down pattern of our political society. Preamble as a part of the Constitution. In the Berubari Union case of 1960, Supreme Court made the ruling that preamble shows the general purposes behind several provisions in the Constitution, and it is a key to the minds of the makers of the Constitution. That is, from the preamble, we'll get to know what is the Constitution about, and it also tells us what was the frame of mind of our Constitution makers. Any article that is ambiguous or is capable of having more than one meaning interpretation may be taken from the objectives enshrined in the preamble. So, if you are having confusion, or if you are having a lack of clarity, or if one article is going to get interpreted in more than one or two forms, you can use the preamble to understand the purpose of the article. Till here, Supreme Court told we can agree. But then Supreme Court made one more comment, which was what? But preamble is not part of the Constitution. This is what they ruled in Berubari Union case. Later, Keshavananda Bharati case of 1973, they ruled that preamble is part of the Constitution. Constitution should be read and interpreted in the light of the grand and noble vision expressed in the preamble. So they ruled it there 70, that is almost 13 years later, 1973, they made the ruling that you have to interpret it keeping in mind the preamble. So preamble is very much part of the Constitution. Taking it further forward, LIC of India case 1995, even they repeated the same thing, that is preamble is part of the Constitution. Preamble was inserted. Now, when did we make the preamble? In the beginning or in the end? Preamble was made after the rest of the Constitution was enacted. Why? Because preamble should carry the sole right. It is the key of the Constitution. So once the whole Constitution was made, then only we inserted it. While forwarding the preamble for votes, the President of the Constituent Assembly said, the question is that preamble stands part of the Constitution. Two things should be noted. Preamble is neither a source of power to legislature nor a prohibition upon the powers of legislature. That is, preamble will neither give legislature any power nor will preamble take away any power. Next, it is non-justiciable. Means what? You cannot go to a court of law telling that preamble is not being followed. Clear? That is, its provisions are not enforceable in court of law. Amendability. Keshavananda Bharati 1973 told preamble is part of the Constitution. We already saw that. Preamble can be amended, subject to the condition that no amendment is done to the basic features. You can make changes to it. So that is why the 42nd Amendment Act, it added three new words. Socialist, secular, integrity. Supreme Court told it doesn't change the basic features of the preamble, so it is fine. Basic elements or the fundamental features of the Constitution as contained in the preamble cannot be altered by an amendment under Article 368. Only one amendment, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976 has happened so far. That is, as far as preamble's amendment is concerned, only once it has been amended by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Three new words: socialist, secular, integrity. All right, people, that's with that chapter. Tell me how was it for you? Please put it up in the comment section, or any other queries are there, you can contact me directly in this Telegram channel. Let me know what are your thoughts. Have a fantastic day. Take care.